Welcome to the channel where we are building a game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Now we've got our game rendering these maps, right? But for right now, we're able to draw them in the tiled app, but we're not able to import them all. So we're working on a data downloader for our app here. What just happened? And we're running into some issues, but in order to help us debug, I'm going to try to get Mob Debugger set up today. So if we can do that, we can at least print up the tables we're supposedly populating. So let's take a look here. We're looking at the source for Mob Debug. It is just a script file here. Now, one of my streamer pals, Prosto, was showing me how this works today in his. He's a really good Lua programmer, best I know. And he was able to get this working with Zero Brain Studio, which is a Lua IDE. So we're going to try to acquire this and then see if we can get this working for our game. So that's going to be step one. We're going to go over here. We're going to add it to our library as Mob Debug. And then our pal Prosto sent us some code here for how he was using it. So this went in the main file. So we'll try to do that. We'll put this in our main file and see if we can get the same kind of what this will allow us to do is like print up values for debugging, right? As the game goes, and we can set little breakpoints and stuff. So let's try to do this. We're going to open up. Here we go. We're going to open up our main, and we're just going to try to import it into our main. And I don't know if he did this, probably in the love.load. So let's try to do it right here. Now, it looks here. We'll put this all in main. Now this code is from Prosto, and he was showing me how this works. And if you have this mob debug in here, this is just looking a little jacked. Basically, it runs when you run this executable main.lua with the tac debug option, it will then start to debug, and it's looking for this value that gets passed into debug. So we'll try this. First, I'm going to see if there's any issues with it linking it. It is not. And I believe it just turns off. So like if we were to say, once we require this, if we were to just say debug. Oh, and the thing is, this won't execute unless we run it with the tac debug option. So at least when Prosto was showing me, he had it done in Zero Brain Studio, which is that Lua IDE. So we're going to just see if that might work. Go. Okay, let's make sure we do have our mob debug. Cannot set watch. Oh God. My Windows subsystem Linux was messing up with this earlier. Okay. That looked like it didn't take too long, but it doesn't look, well, it says debugging session started. But if we were to look in here, we don't have anything in our stacker watch. Is that right? Yeah, so this is what I'm trying to figure out, how to do this. So when I was looking at Prosto, well, let me see if we can start debugging interpreter for love. That should be it. then if we hit start debugging, it says debugging started. Okay, so at this point, I think all we have to do is go into our project and do the debug on and off for anything we might want to debug. So we'll go to our map declarations, and you know what, let's just see if we can print up what our global map 112 is, or we spawn in at 22, I believe. So let's just try. I don't know exactly how this works. Like, let's just see if we can add right here. We say debug, and then debug false. Okay, so we're just debugging that, and let's just say we set like a breakpoint. I don't know. Let's just see if it does anything. Okay, so debug is not being recognized. So if we run it without debug, we're fine. Oops. Okay. Let's take a look at when we use it. We say this mob debug start. Oh, our mob debug is in our lib. Should be just lib mob debug, something like that. Okay, that's taking longer. See, we're still not seeing shit here. Oh, we have a stack call. Okay, that's good. We've got a stack call at least. So maybe now we can just try to debug just like one line and just see if we can get one table rendering here in our stack. Because that's better than we've got before. So let's try that. Let's say here in the overall render function, we're just gonna say, how would we do this? We can't just say debug and debug false. Okay, I'm just putting a test table in there, and I'm going to see if this table shows up in our stack. I don't see it. Wow. So like this is, what's running under the hood, which I normally have no idea, but Mob Debug has given us a little glimpse into it. So how do I want to watch for a variable of table test. Okay. Well, I mean, this is the closest I've gotten with this, so that's cool. But I don't think the debug is actually doing anything. I think it just runs no matter what. Why can I not delete? Okay. So look, we've got this. If on, then on. If off, then off. Debug on, debug V. Okay. I don't know. I guess I didn't think this would run anything unless I start debugging. But it does pull some stuff. So where can we see values of a table or something? Let's see. If we pull up mob debug and just take a look at it. Require mob debug, start. I've always found the documentation for this to be pretty confusing. We're close though. I mean, we're seeing some stuff here. I'm gonna see the... I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to try. I didn't think this would run anything. I thought we had to say... Okay, so look, if we run it with debug, which... See how it says the tech debug right here, program starting with tech debug. Then go ahead and require mob debug. I don't get why it says start then off there. Oh, on and off. Okay, so it's like it starts and then it turns it off. And then if debug on, okay, so we might say if debug on, okay, yeah, so if we just run debug, what is this saying? Debug on, v not equals false. So it just toggles debugging, I guess. Or do we have to say debug on true, debug on false? I don't exactly know. Let's try it though. If we have like right here, if we say test gets an empty table, and instead of empty, it's actually just a couple values, and then we are debug. What is this wanting me to do? Debug, and then I'm gonna just give it the test table. I don't know how this works. Debug false. Let me see. There was I screen recorded Prosto doing this today. So maybe my phone has clues. Because he's building like this whole 3D game in Love. And he is very... He thought that this would help me out, and I think this would help me out. Okay. Yeah, debug. You say debug, and then debug false. and it shows in his markers or output. Okay, let's try it with debug and debug false. We've got that, but let's say, yeah, he has another window here called markers. Okay, let's try it. Okay. It takes a little while to get started, which is good. But then maybe not. I thought this would show something here. Let's see. We've got our stack, but I don't see any info here. Let's try to do it and print something up. Let's try to do... We've got this test table, so let's go ahead and just try to debug only the test table. So if we're in the render here, we want to say, let's debug the love.graphics printing of this test table. Okay. I don't see it. This would be huge if we can get this. You know, if we just need to be able to see the table we're converting from the tile to export. That would be big. Maybe we can say no. Can't evaluate the expression while the table's running. So what? Can you do it here? Test is a table here, and test is nil. Okay. So that won't help much. But can we do it here? I don't know. I don't know. Shit. We are able to see the stack at least, but that doesn't help me much. We are printing that table on screen here, but we need to see it. We need to see it somewhere. Oh, look at this. No? Shit. Okay. I don't see what I'm doing wrong. gonna check through Prosto's video again and see if he's doing something. That's in main.lua. He does have this IO standard out set vbuff. I don't know what the hell that is. I think there was another time he sent me this. Let's see if he included anything else. Yeah, he did have that. Where is the game? We'll quit it. Okay. There's another line that Prosto has where attaching a console, data console, in the love.conf data. Oh, that data console gets false. Okay, so I don't think that'll be. Okay. Well, I don't know, dude. I mean, the debugging seems to be half working. I can't trigger it. It just goes for it. So let's just try to say debug. Let's see. Okay. I don't know how we do it. Add watch expression. So can we say, hey, add watch expression of test? It doesn't know. We are rendering that. Hey, look at that. We just got it. We got the test. Now, can we do that? How did we do that? Did we have to... Fuck. Okay, we closed the game. Okay, stop the game. My watch went away. Let's try it again. I'll take debug out and see if we can add test as a watch parameter. Test is nil. But then if we say break execution, we get it. Break execution at the next executed line of code. Okay. Okay, so we're able to get the table. So that's cool. So let's try this. I don't know how to only do it for a specific line of code, but let's try let's try to just print up what map 2-3 is after we declare it. Now we don't have a print function here, but we can say debug. Oh, it won't even let me do this, huh? It needs an expression or something. Okay. So maybe what we do is we say, we run this, and then we add a watch for this variable. We say, you know what, we're going to add a watch for this map 2-3. And then we're going to do this break execution. That's it. Cool. So we are able to get these values out. Nice. Okay. So, okay. Cool. Sweet. I don't know how to run it only for one thing, but it is running, and we're getting what we need from it. So let's continue to try. So what we're gonna do is just take a look at what we've got from yesterday. So if we look at our dependencies, we've got this global map that is this map master tiled test. So let's just take a quick look at what that master tiled test is. We go to Tashio, we go to graphics, master tiled test. It has a data table of every single tile ID that we drew. So the idea is we're going to draw whatever map we want for the whole entirety of the map right here. We draw whatever we want, and this is this master tiled test. Because if you look 1, 2, 3, there's 1, 2, 3, and then 34, 34. That's all this grass, and then everything. But the trick is it goes like this. Even though every one of these 10 by 9 squares is one scene that I'm calling. So we need to turn this whole table into a population for every map scene. Map 1-1, it'll get the first 10, and then it doesn't get its next 10 until, 90 squares later, it gets its next 10. So it's hard to see, but actually, yeah, right there. I mean, that's the next 10. It's easy to kind of see there, but let's see. Now that we know what a master tiled global map is, that's what we're calling global map. Let's see, I made some notes here to try to think this through, and I called it tiled map. Global map works, but let's say this is called tiled map. Okay, we're going to search for any instance of global map and make sure we're not using it anywhere. Yeah, we are. And we're just going to change this to tiled. So with this, we have a tiled map. Oh, tiled. Shit, never mind. Global. Okay. Oh, we did this kind of right, actually. So if we look at our declarations where we used to be, we can go back and say this is actually global map. That's fine. Tiled map. Cool. So we've got a simple loop here that goes through the global maps dot layer table at the first index, and it goes through every data, all those tile IDs, and it goes ahead and puts them into a single table called tiled map. Okay. So we've got this tiled map, and then let's just print up this tiled map with mob debugger and make sure we've got exactly that data from the master tiled sheet. So let's, if we open up our mob debugger here, we can say, okay, cool. Let's get rid of this watch, and we'll add a new watch for tiled map. That's the table that we're looking for. Let's go ahead and run. It takes a little while, that's fine. Look at that, tiled map. It does get it. Bad argument string in 104. Bad argument in 104. Okay. Well, I wonder if that'll still run now that that's out. Cool. That's sick. It gives us the tiled map. Okay. I don't know what we're printing on screen here, but we do have access to this tiled map. And I just want to make sure, is that every value? It looks like it's not every value. What is the let's do this test here. This should be 90 values. So if we look here, let's just say that we're going to have a variable called tiled map count, and it's going to be assigned the number of IDs in our tiled map. And then we'll add a watch for this tile map count so that we can see how many variables are in there. Should be 900. So if we go to watch, our watch window, we say, you know what, there's going to be a new watch. We're actually going to delete this. We're going to add a watch for our tiled map count. Cool. Now let's run. Should be 900. Okay. We're getting nil. Tiled map count. Did I name that right? Tiled map count. Tiled map count gets the tiled map. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. Still no. Tiled map count. Okay. Well, let's try it again. Tiled map count, and then we're gonna hit pause here. I don't see it. Now that doesn't look like 900 values. Tiled map count. Let me just see. We say that this is 500. We should see that here. Still nil. What's going on? Let's make it not local. Maybe that was the issue. Did I just quit Mob Debugger or Zero Brain? Thought we had some good thing going on. Tiled map count. Okay. Are we able to add a watch for map 1, 2? Yeah. So how come it doesn't like just straight up variables? I don't know. Straight up variables I don't like. What if we say... Okay. Tiled map count. Oh, and you know what? This might be jacked up. Oh, because I'm doing it here in Mob Debugger. Yeah, it might not have access to it in map declarations unless I reload. Yeah, I don't see. What line was that? 23? Oh, it's in there. Oh, I see it now. I saw it there. Okay, but then if we take this out, then run it. Okay, it's pulling it. Great. This is big. Cool. So let's get rid of this watch, and let's see if we're able to print out that number of tiled map. So number tiled map. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna minimize this. We're gonna try it in here. Yeah, we're gonna say that this is tiled map. Let's try that. We need to add the watch for it, which tiled map count. Oh, we are. Oh, 9,000. Okay, it's got it. 9,000 is wrong. It should be 900, right? Oh, shit, no, that is kind of right. It is 9,000. Shit, it is 9,000. Because it's 10 by 9, that's 90 per scene. And then there's 100 scenes, so 9,000. Yeah. 100 scenes of 90 IDs. That looks right. Okay. So that does look right. But then if we go in here and we say, hey, let's just watch for tiled map, and then try it. This is close, man. It's just that we don't really have... I'm not able to see 90,000 here. Or 9,000. Yeah. It cuts it off at like 40 values or something. I don't know how we would test this. I mean, I guess we just assume tiled map is good. How would we do this? Well, it's got to be a dark mode for this, right? This is pretty good. Gotta be a dark mode question. Okay, well. Okay, so let's walk through how we're going to do this. I made a little map. Can't see it. To try to wrap my head around this. We've got one tiled map table of all the IDs. Then we have a grid of scenes. It's a 10 by 10 grid, and each scene of those 100 scenes, each scene has 10 columns, 9 rows. I'm calling the rows and columns within the scene row and scene column. And then there's map row and map column for the grid of scenes. So let's walk through how we might start to put the proper values in our table. Now, this is where I started yesterday. So let's walk this through. We're gonna do, it's not through 900, it's through 9,000. So we're gonna start at tile ID 1, go all the way through and include 9,000. That'll be all the tile IDs, and the tile IDs is what we're putting, yeah, this is wrong. Okay. So if we walk it through, all we're trying to do is say table.insert into our map row and map column our tiled map at index tile ID. Okay. The grand scheme of things, that's the only thing we're doing. All we're doing is putting the value from our tiled map, and we're putting it into, we're table.inserting it into our map row, map column scene. All this map is a table to hold 90 values for all the tile IDs. The tricky thing comes when we need to only add 10 at a time, because it exports the whole row for the global tile map. Cool. Okay, so let's see, we've got a tile ID, we've got a map row, we've got a map call, call this map row, map call, and then we've got a scene row, scene call. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this. I think this will confuse me more. So I'm gonna get rid of this and this. I actually do want to keep where we insert. Yeah, I want to keep the insertion. Cool. Okay. Okay. So at the grand scheme of things, you know, we're just inserting one tile ID from our map, and we're inserting it into one of the 100 map scenes we've got. Then we increment tile ID. We don't need to do that because that's what the for loop is doing. And then I'm gonna delete this. Okay, so here's like the scaffolding. You know, go through each tile ID from our tiled map table. And all we do is insert that value into our map row. So the tricky part is every 10 values we insert, we need to increment the column. And then by the time we're done going all the way through 1 map row, 10 map column, anytime we're on the 10th row and we've inserted 10 items, then we need to go back, and now we're still at map row 1, but we're at map column 2. We're actually, yeah, we'd be map column 2. Because it's kind of hard to think about, but whenever we put a whole screen of tiles, it's just 90 values back to back. Like, it's just 90 values. It's not 10 it's not a table of 10 wide and 9 down. It's literally just 90 all back to back. So if we keep that in mind, it'll help us conceptualize this. So if this is all we're doing, we have to just give it the proper syntax to every 10 tiles change to the next scene. So I've got, in my notes here, I've got so we've got a map row, a map column. We need a scene row and a scene call. So we say scene row and scene call. And then we need a rows inserted. Now, I think that's what I was calling global row. Let's call it rows inserted because that's what my notes say. So we'll say rows inserted. So the rows inserted is important because we need to know at what point to increment our map row, because once we finish 9 rows of the global tiled maps, then we need to increment the map row and start all over again. So rows inserted is the one variable that we start out as 0. We need these as 1 because it's 1 indexed. But rows inserted will increment once we finish each row. So at the end of it's 10 tiles wide and 10 scenes across. So every 100 tile map we insert, we're gonna increment this rows inserted. And then every 10 rows inserted, we increment our map rows for our global map scenes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think this is making sense. So if we were to just do this, all this would do is put all 9,000 tiles into our map 1-1, which isn't what we want. But we do want the first 10. So we need to basically increment this scene call every time we insert one of these things. And then every time scene call is 10, we chuck it back to 0. We chuck our scene row back, not back to 0, back to 1, and then chuck our scene row back to 1, but increment our map column. So we do the next grid's first 10 values. And then we have to, this rows inserted is going to be kind of tough to track, but we could do a kind of hacky way where we say if tile ID is greater than, what would it be? If we've done, there's 90 tiles each for 10 scenes, so every 900 tiles, if the tile ID is bigger than 900, we know we have to increment our map row by 1. Yep. Okay. So let's see. Before we insert, we need to check something, and we need to see, hey, if our scene call is greater than 10, then we need to if our scene call is greater than 10, that means we've inserted the first 10 values already. And then we would need to reset our scene call to be equal to 1. We would set our row call, our scene row. Yeah, scene row wouldn't get 1. and then we would advance our map column. So we'd say map call gets +1. Okay, and then by the time it hits this insert statement, now it's inserting, and the scene call and row are just to count. I guess we don't need scene row here because we're not doing anything specific with it. So for right now, I'll delete it. But we're counting when to change map calls based on if we've inserted 10 tiles, meaning the one whole row. If we finish inserting a whole row into our map scene, then we're going to go to the next scene and reset our scene call so that we can then again only insert 10. Okay, but then we need to catch when we get to the end, once our map call is what, greater than 10 or equal to 10? If our map, no, not our map call. If our, yeah, it's almost like the only, yeah, we do need to count how many of these we've done. So we can say, I mean, this is where the rows inserted can be used, but I was thinking global rows inserted. So like, I think we might need a global rows inserted, or I don't know what to call it other than global rows inserted. But if we treat rows inserted as, if we're going through our top scene, our map 1-1, map 1-2, map 1-3, every time we finish one of those scenes, that's a whole row inserted. So we're going to say, hey, if it's greater than that, then we're going to say rows inserted gets incremented. And so does our map call. That's where we're inserting it into the map table. Okay. And then we need to do a check. Before we insert this, we need to say, hey, if we've inserted 10 rows, you know, if the rows is greater than, or I guess it's equal to 10, because we start it as 0, we finish 1, boom, 1. If we finish 10 and hey, we've inserted 10, then what we're going to do is we actually have to do a couple of things. We need to loop down to the original map row, original map column. Yeah, okay, so map column at least we know would get reset back to 1. I believe map row would get set back to 1 at this point. Map row doesn't change from 1, so we're good there. So we say map call gets reset to 1. That's good. But what needs to change also is, actually, yeah, what do we need to change other than that? Because yeah, the only difference is we're not incrementing the map column anymore. Now we're resetting it back to 1. That kind of makes sense. Let's see. I have, in my notes here, I say if rows inserted is greater than 10 or equal to 10, rows inserted gets 0. That's not what I want to do, but scene call gets 1, not map call. Yeah, this is wrong. We would, I have scene row gets current row plus 1. So we have like a, but that's the global row count. Okay, that makes sense. So we would say, now we would say global rows inserted gets incremented because we've done a whole row, a global row is what we're calling it. Global rows inserted, incremented right there. And then we need to reset. We do reset our map call, but we need to reset our scene call, because our scene call, gosh, we're not even incrementing our scene call here. So we need to, once we insert, then we say, hey, scene call, it now gets updated so that we insert into the next scene. Now that doesn't change where we insert it, it's just helping us count here. So we need that, because if we don't increment this, we'll never trigger that, hey, we inserted a whole scene's worth of rows, or a whole scene's worth of columns. Okay. Yeah, so every time we insert one, we're gonna go increment our scene call. But if our scene call is greater than 10, we reset it. Also, if our rows inserted is equal to 10, we should reset it too. Okay. This is getting close. So this is like, we're going through all the tile IDs from our global map. This is if we're done inserting into map 1.1, for example, the first row into map 1.1, then this is if we've done the whole first global row of map 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, all the way through 1.10. If we finish that, then we go back here, and then we continue to insert. So maybe we can test this. I don't know if this is the point to test, because what we need to do is we're still not ever incrementing our map row. We're only ever inserting into the first row. So we either need to count how many times, that we're counting it here, and we're saying, I guess we could do this. We could say, hey, if we've inserted 10 global rows, if we've inserted 10 of these, it's actually 9, because it's 10 pixels wide, 10 tile size wide, but 9 tile size down is a whole scene for the Game Boy resolution. Then if we've inserted 9 global rows, that's great. We just need to, at this point, increment our map row so that we get the next row. Cool. Now, yeah. Okay, yeah. So at the very last, let's say we're in map 110, and we just finished inserting the last scene, scene column. Then we would say, okay, our scene column gets set to 1, our map column gets plus by 1. Oh, see, we need a catch. Where are we resetting? We're only resetting map column if we've inserted 10 rows. Okay, so yeah, we would increment it to 11, but then we would say, okay, well, we've inserted 10 rows, so go ahead, reset our map column to 1, set our scene column to 1, and increment how many global rows we've inserted. And then at that point, at map 110, we will have inserted 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, no, this would be 10. No, it would be 9, yeah. Oh, shit. Rows inserted is 10. Rows inserted is how many? Yeah, global rows. Okay, no, this is right. Because we're at the end of our map grid. We increment how many rows we've inserted. And this is what's been throwing me off, because Tiled wants to draw these black guidelines at 1010, but our grid is 10:9. So that's actually our full screen here, even though the black lines look like it goes beneath it. So I want to figure out how to change that. If we can't figure that out, it'll be a little awkward, but be okay. Okay, and then we're incrementing our map row. We do need to increment our, oh yeah, we don't need to increment our tile ID because that's in the for loop already. Okay. I think this is working okay. So I guess one way to test it is we can add a watch value for map 1,1. And we know that 1,1 needs to be equal to all these values. And right now it's just 1, 2, 3, then 34s all the way through. So if we add a watch value of map 1,1 and we get 1, 2, 3, 34s all the way through instead of this 34, 37, 40, because that's adding, here's the 37, here's the 40. So like instead of adding it all like that, what we just did hopefully only inserts the ones we want. So let's add a watch to a map 1,1. Let's see. Let's take out, I don't want this and I don't want this. I might want to say, after we insert that, let's just get map count is going to be how many values are in the map 1,1. Oh, and you know what? This might be jacked up because we have more than just tile IDs in the map. We also have entities. So that might be messed up. But I guess I'm curious what that might look like. If it should be at least 90. We didn't add a watch for it. Okay, let's try that. Hoping it's at least 90. It's 18. Fuck. Oh no. Okay, well let's see what they are. So let's add another watch and it'll be all the values in that 1,1. Look at that. It's actually very, very close. See, I told you there's more in that table. It's also in animatables and in entities. But it did get the 1, 2, 3, 34, 34, 34. But it only got 18 worth of values. It should have 90. So we messed up somewhere in here that we're only putting 18 in there. Okay. And what sucks is even if we're missing one tile ID, the whole thing will crash as soon as we walk over there. So we kind of need every scene to have 90 tile IDs, otherwise it just crashes. But this is a good start. This is the right values. It just didn't go long enough. We did get, because if you look at the master tile ID, the table we're getting switches into 37 after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 34s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 34s. But then there's 34s past it. So something in our logic is actually pretty close to being right because it's looping down here and getting these 34s. It's just not getting these 34s and then these 34s and then these 34s. All 9 rows of 34s. So might be just a bug in our logic here. I mean, it definitely is. It's hard to think this through. Because we are doing something 9,000 times, Jesus. That's a lot, huh? Whatever. Computers are good at that stuff. This is really cool because if this works, we can draw the whole map all at once, export it once as the .lua, and then this data downloader goes through and inserts them into the right maps, and then we have our global or our map object collisions built in. that would be really sweet because we've already got that built out by the tile ID. Let's see, if we run this, yeah, if we can get this working, it'd be super nice because it's like it knows that those stumps there you can't walk through because they're a specific tile ID. Yeah, and then we're crashing. So for whatever reason, our map 2.2 is fine. It might be because we manually declare it with good values here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, something, let's see, the screen we just tried to walk to was what? Let's see. Then expected and map declarations. What'd I mess up? Okay, map 2.2, map 2.1, so that should be map 1.1 is jacked. Okay. So yeah, map 1.1 only has 18 values for some reason. So that means only, that's weird, because I would think that it would have 20, not 18. But it has 18. That's really weird. Now we know our tiled map has 9,000 items. We were able to print that up. If we were able to save, we've got, where is it? We've got a tiled map right here. So if we say tiled map count, gets the number of how many tiled map items there are, and then we add a watch for this, we should get 9,000. And we got nil. Tiled map. What? That's weird. I don't know, maybe it doesn't like the local variables. Last time I tried it with local, it kind of messed that up. It should be 9,000. Okay, it is 9,000. So we do have 9,000 in our tiled map. But for whatever reason, we're only getting 18 values inserted. Okay, let's just walk it through. By the time we're done inserting 10, yeah, greater than 10, yeah, because it's one indexed, so anytime it's greater than 10, then we're going to reset our scene column back to 1. We're going to increment our map column so we go to the next grid, and then we're going to say that, hey, we've inserted a row. And it's not until we've inserted 10 rows that we're going to go and reset. We need to reset. We don't ever set our scene row, do we? We don't use our scene row anywhere. I mean, scene row, yeah, scene row isn't even getting used. What up, Magnetonics? How's it going, dude? We're not using scene row because we're just appending. This table.insert just appends the value. So we're not keeping track of how many rows we're actually putting in. So we don't even need scene row, technically. We're not using it anywhere, anyway. But this is getting close. Because if we've inserted 10 rows, meaning we're at the end of our scene, like map 110, then we're gonna go reset our map column to 1. Okay, so maybe this is where it's getting jacked up. It might be, let me see. in our tiled. Oh, we have all these. I think these are 40. Okay. So yeah, if we get to the end of our rows, you know, if we've inserted 10 rows, we're at the end of our scene. Then we're going to reset our map column to 1, so we go back to the first scene. We then, yeah, we don't touch our map row. Okay. I don't see what's wrong here. So if we've inserted 10 rows, we've finished that very topmost row of our global scenes. Then we reset our map column to 1 to go to the beginning again and start the next row. And we're not really starting the next row, we're just gonna insert on top of that 10th item, which will, you know, render appropriately if it has all 90 tiles in there. And then our scene column gets set to 1 so that we can count how many we've inserted again, so we know when to advance our map call. And then once at the end of that row, we say, hey, we've globally inserted 1 row. If we get to the point where we've inserted a whole 9 rows, then we increment our map row to start the next one. Then we insert the ID into there. Okay. And then every time we insert one thing, we go ahead and advance the scene call. Yeah. And scene call starts at 1. Okay, I don't see what's wrong here. Let's see map 2 here. Map 1, 2 should be all of these 37s. So let's print up map 1, 2 and see if it's all 37s and how many. So we can say, hey, map count, we're actually going to count how many are in map 1, 2. Let's go ahead and run it. Okay, see, this is jacked. Map 1, 2 shouldn't be 2s. And there's only 10? Wait, what? Dude, that's way more than 10. Map count says it's 10, but map 1, 2 has got a whole bunch of shit. Oh, we're manually inserting 1, 2 at the moment. Yeah, where's our 1, 2? Okay, we are manually inserting 1, 2. Okay, so let's turn that off. Yeah, and actually we'll turn off all these. We don't want any. Well, we're gonna crash. We at least need 2, 2, because that's where we're spawning. So I'll just turn 1, 3, 2, 1. We'll keep 2, 2. How are we even rendering 2, 2 at the moment? That's how we were, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna comment out all the maps that aren't 2, 2. Because we don't want the game to crash. But we don't want it populating 1, 2 with, oh, why do we have 2, 2, 2s? Okay, whatever. Okay, now that we commented out 1, 2, we should get better values here. Not 2, 2, but hopefully 34s all the way across. 37s. Oh yeah, it is 37s. That is right. Okay, so it's only inserting 1 row for some reason. It does get the proper values for the first row, but it's not getting the next row or any of those 8 subsequent rows. So that tells me we're probably doing something wrong in the map row, map column. Assignment. So let's see. We only increment a map row if we've inserted 9 global rows. Okay, it's not here because we're only checking the first row of map. So even if we were to take this out, we can see if that might be accidentally causing only 1 row to get in there. I don't think it is. Yeah, we only have 10. Okay. See, and that's why I was confused getting the 18. It would make sense if we got 20, like, oh, we only got first 2 rows or something. But 18 is really strange to get. So that's what I don't get. It's like, how come our map 1-1 had 18? Oh, shit. That's jacked up. Oh, we didn't do this. Yeah, we should have 90 in every map, and we have 18 in map 1-1. Let's see if map 1-3 only has 10 as well. Yeah. So why would map 1-1 have... Are we doing anything weird with map 1-1? I feel like we would be doing some weird shit with map 1-1 for some reason. Okay, well. This is big. I mean, this is how I used to do it. I used to type in every tile that I wanted manually like this, which is quite annoying for building out levels. So once we figure this out, we can just draw a whole map's worth of levels, export it once, and then boom, we've got it with the map collidables. That would be so sick. Okay, so something's going on. Something's going on with our... we just wouldn't be inserting into the proper map row. So we need to make sure that map row doesn't increase until we've inserted all 10 rows. Oh, see, that is the issue. We don't want to... This wants to be 90 instead of 9. Because... oh, no. Shit, that is right. Because, yeah, we insert 10 rows. That means we're at the end of the first global map row. Then we say, hey, we've inserted 1. It's not until... Oh, we're not... We have to reset our rows inserted here. No, we don't. Rows inserted is 0. We only increment it by 1 every time. Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do have to reset rows inserted to 0 here. Yeah. Because... Yep, let's try that. I think that might solve something. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, let's... Okay, we'll try map 1-3. What? What did I change that this is just crashing now? Okay, you're fine. Okay, so if we've inserted 10 rows, yeah, we need to reset our rows inserted back to 0. So we say rows inserted is now 0 so that we can restart counting again. So let's try that. Map 1, 3. We're looking for 90 in the map count here. Map declarations 54 is not liking. What is going on? Why can't I reset this? What the hell? Okay, so if the rows inserted is how many scene rows we've inserted. And we're using the amount of rows inserted to know when to increment how many global rows we've inserted so that we can increment our map row to get the next map row beneath us. So we do need to reset rows inserted once we've inserted, yeah, if we've inserted 1, yeah, and we would have 10. So yeah, once rows inserted is equal to 10, we're going to set rows inserted equal to 0. And then why do we crash at 54 when we do that? I'm so confused why it's crashing there. We've reset it to 1. Do you crash? Yeah. If we set it to 10 like it currently is, you're fine. All we're doing is incrementing rows inserted. Now we should only be doing this. Yeah, this is just like happening once from the get-go. Once we require this in our dependencies, we go ahead and make these. I mean, I'm going to try to make rows inserted global and see if that changes anything. But this should not crash when we set rows inserted at 0. All that does is make it so that we can then increment it and look for it to be equal to 10 again, so that we can... Oh, shit. We're only ever resetting our map call to 1. Okay. So our map call doesn't need to get set. Yeah, I mean, it starts at map call 1 every row we're inserting, so that does kind of seem right. So I guess we could do this a slightly different way. I don't get why it's not liking this. But instead of incrementing our map row here, we can literally, I don't like doing that. We can just hard code it and say, hey, if the tile ID is equal to, you know, the first row of stuff inserted, so that would be 90 tiles, 10, so 900. If the tile ID is 901, go ahead and set our map row to be 2. And if it's 1802 or 1801 or whatever, go ahead and set map row equal to 3. I don't like that approach. So what is going on? How come we can't get this working? How come we can't get global rows inserted, global rows inserted +1, global rows inserted. Oh, this was... Okay, I see why we fucked up. We need to reset global rows. No, we don't. I don't see where I fucked up. Yeah, if we've inserted 9 global rows, we're going to increment our map row. Maybe that's where we need to reset rows inserted. No. Yeah, we need to do it at the end of... Yeah, we need to reset it every time. Yeah, I think I'm going to change rows inserted to seen rows inserted for my sanity's sake. Seen rows inserted. And we say that this is seen rows inserted. And then, so as we insert seen rows, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once we get to 10, then seen rows inserted is 10. Then we need to say, okay, okay, seen rows. Okay, no, see, this is jacked up. Yeah, so once, god damn it, okay. Scene call is how many, okay, let's talk, we've got 2 things. We've got a global map that's 10 by 10. The global map is what I call map, and it holds all the scenes. What I call a scene is 90 tile IDs that is placed inside a 2D array of this map. So map 1.1 has 90 tile IDs. That represents the scene for that map. So the scene call is how many tile IDs we've placed going left to right, right? So once we've placed 10 of them, we reset back to 1. We increment our map call, so we go to the next map, and then we say, hey, we've inserted a whole scene row. Cool. Because we've inserted 1 row of 10 into the first map 1.1 scene. Then we're going to say, hey, if our scene rows inserted is equal to 10, meaning we're at the end, we've done map 1 through map 1.1 through map 1.10. And at that point, we will have scene rows inserted equals to 10. And if that's the case, if we've inserted 10 rows already, then we're going to say, okay, well now we're back to map call 1, to the left side of the map. We're resetting our scene call back to 1 so that we can count again. And then we're going to increment our global rows inserted because we've inserted a whole row of that global map table. That first of 90 global map rows. If we've inserted all of the global rows for the first map row, or for any map row, then we go ahead and we increment our map row. And then we're just going to go ahead and insert whatever tile ID into the current map and map row and map column. Then we increment our scene call. Every time we insert one, increment our scene call. So the issue, I think, is that this scene rows inserted, we need to say scene rows inserted gets 0 because we're checking when this is equal to 10 so that we can do the next row. Like we're only getting the first 10 of map 1.3, so we're not changing this. So now that we're saying, hey, set scene rows inserted back to 0, so that every scene call insert, we can increment it, or every 10 items we insert, we can increment it and then check if it's equal to 10 again. But we crash here for some reason. Why would changing what number? Why would changing scene rows inserted equals 1? This is so confusing to me why we would crash here. We change this to 9, do we crash? Yes. If we remain this at 10, we don't crash. So what is going on there? We should reset it back to 0. What happens when scene rows inserted is 0? Well, at the end of our global rows inserted, if we've done all 9, then we're going to insert our map or update our map row. Do we need to reset? We do reset scene call. Oh, we might need to reset scene call here also. Let's try that. Fuck. I got all excited. I'm like, oh, we crashed on line 55 this time because I added one line above. But yeah, I think we should reset scene call to 1 here too. Because yeah, if we finish inserting 10 scene rows, we've inserted a whole row. Oh, scene rows inserted 1. We should set scene call to 1. Oh, we set scene call to 1 there. Okay. Then if we've inserted a whole global 9 rows, okay, so maybe here's the thing. We need to reset. Yeah, we're never resetting global rows inserted. So once we've inserted 9, we go ahead, increment our map row, but then we need to reset our global rows inserted back to 0 as well. Hey, we're not crashing. Hey, look at 37s. 37s all across for map 1, 2. Map 1, 2, all these are 37s. That's right here, 37. Is that it? Is that it? Let's see map 1, 1. Oh, let's see. Oh, look, 90. Yes, 90. Let's see map 1, 1. We should have 90 tile IDs in map 1, 1 also. Dude, that's close. That's close. 37s all across, yes. Map 1, 1. Let's see if we have 18 or something weird again. We should have 90. 90. Fuck yeah, let's go. It's wrong. Oh, no. Well, we're printing up map 1, 2, 2. Let's change this to map 1, 1 and see. Oh, if this is it. Edit watch. 1, 1. Let's try that. It should be, you guys, it should be 1, 2, 3 and then 34s. So 1, 2, 3 and then 34s. If it's that, I think we did it right. Yes, let's fucking go. That's it. 1, 2, 3 and 34s. We might be good. We might be good. Let's try it. Let's try it. I mean, we can do it for anything. So like, and any map we do is exported here. These are what, 42s or whatever? If we look at our master tile test, they're 40s. So any frame, okay. So as long as we say, okay, let's try this. Actually, we can try it right now in the game. The only thing that should be different is the map 2, 2 that we manually put right here, we manually put a different one, but if we walk left, we should see all this yellow, and then we walk up, we should see all this green with the 1, 2, 3 tiles in the top left. Let's try it. Yes, that's fucking right. Let's fucking go. That's it. That's it. We got all our tiled maps. Now we yes, dude, yes. Fuck yeah. Now our animatables are separate, which makes sense because they change, you know, what tile ID every second or whatever. But that's right. Fuck yeah. Now this is boring because it's all this shit. It's all the same shit. But what's so cool about this is if we go, if now, that's so cool. Now that we've got that, if we look at our dependencies, we've got this require master tiled test in our graphics folder that we're calling global map. So if we go to our global map and we say, hey, give me a bunch of trees here. I want this one to be all like this, all fucked up. I want this to have a bunch of stumps everywhere, this to a bunch of stumps everywhere. And we want a bunch of shit like this. And we say, okay, give me a tree, give me a... that one might be messed up because I put too many trees in. Let's redo that. Yeah, I don't want to spawn into a tree. But for example, if this was our level, we edit this once, we just draw it, and then we say export as master tiled test, and we overwrite it. Then all we got to do is run the game again, and we should have the map in there with the collidable map objects. Now 2.2 is the only one that's jacked up because we're modifying it, but check it, we can't walk through a stump and we can't walk through a tree. Hell yeah. And it's all the jacked up shit we drew. Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is huge. So once the tricky thing is we do still have to put, I don't know why I can't walk through that. I should be able to walk through that. The tricky thing is we still do have to keep track of where we insert the animatables, but all the global map objects are working. That's fucking huge. That's huge. What are we printing here that's nil? Are we in our play state we might be doing? So this is awesome. This allows us to make all kinds of... We can sit here for an hour and draw up a pretty map, and we'll be able to walk all through it, and all we have to do is save it as master tiled test or whatever. We'll change that so it's not so gross, but then we'll make a little map here and then give ourselves a place to walk through. So this will be really cool. I'm gonna find in our play state where we're doing... where is it? Play state. Inspect result, that's the one. We're gonna get rid of this so that we're not printing nil. And I'm gonna kind of quit what's that called? Zero Brain Studio, which is a cool, if you're into Lua development, it was able to debug some of these values for me, which is really cool. Thanks to Prosto for showing me that on Discord. That was handy. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back into our NeoVim and we're gonna say, reload that. Okay, we're gonna go into our dependencies and we're gonna rename it so it's not master tiled test. We'll just call it global map or export or something like that. So in our dependencies, we're gonna call this, I mean, we just call it global map. Global map. That's a .lua file. So in here, now that we're our global map is actually a global map object. Let's delete our tiled map test, and we'll just draw ourselves a good map starting point. We'll change our spawning point to 1, 1. We'll try to match the animatables so that we get that accurate, animation stuff going on. But we'll go here into graphics and we'll delete our master tiled test. Now, once we delete that, all we got to do is come into here and we can draw whatever we want with all these cool tools. So there is a way to kind of do this. Maybe not. I've got to learn how to use this a little bit better, but this is super cool tool. Let's just do just draw. Cool. And so the thing is, we have very few sprites right now. So maybe this is a perfect time to build out at least a couple more sprites, because we've got I'm gonna pull up the starting level where the animatables are. If we look at right here, there's 3 animatables there, and then here I'm gonna leave that up here. So it looks like scene 3-2 has a flower animatable. So we'll go flower at 3-2, was it? Yeah. And then on this one, it looks like it's 2-3. And then we could look at where this is, but okay. And then it's maybe right here. Okay. This is cool. Okay. I'm just going to kind of build out what I had here just to... Because it took me quite a while to build that demo because I was having to type everything manually for all the placements. But we can build this out, mimic it. We had like the corners up here. This is so cool. Oh, this is going to make it so much easier. And then we'll be able to have like a chill pixel art stream where we just make a bunch of different cool sprites, and then we can have a cool pixel art stream where we're just building out, just like, not for like real level design, but just for like just to make a little sandbox for us to walk around in and test the game. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, that's a little jacked up. Okay, we need a tile. We have the tile coming in like this, coming down like that. Then we've got I need to see that first page again. Okay, I think these are all up one. Not that it really matters, like I don't need to match it, but and then so this is actually one tile too far down. So one tough thing is this app wants to draw the lines at the 10th box down, but we're actually 9 tall because we have 1 grid reserved for the HUD. This is so cool because yeah, we could start building out little levels like this, and it's just like painting. And then the collidable map objects are already factored in, so that's really sick. And then I'll put in, we'll have a tree that has a green background so that it's not just this. But look how easy it is to paint this stuff now. Sweet. So just as like a tester level, right? Like, see, and then we need to have tree stumps with a different background too, because if we have those in different spots, we don't want that green background. So that's one thing that tiled like that I was excited about, is that you can do layers and stack transparent things. But that means you have to render and insert anything's twice. I don't know how to render the shit on top of itself. We couldn't get the scene transitioning worked when we would export them one at a time, and we lost our ability for the collidable map objects when we did that. So I think it's okay that we just make, you know, we'd go edit our master sheet atlas and just give us a tree stump with a brown background instead, you know. So I don't think it's that big a deal. This is really cool. And so like one thing we are missing too is like we used to be rendering that like random sand city with random skull and bones everywhere. We don't have that ability. Well, we could do that. We could render specific tiles with that stuff again and overwrite the global map tile ID. We could do that still, so that's not a big deal actually. But let's go ahead and export this and try. So like, we'll give it here, and we'll say this is actually here. Don't want walking through there. Okay, let's try that. So we just drew it. All we gotta do is say File, Export As, and we go into our graphics and we call this global map.lua. That has a layers table, that has a data table, that has all those tile IDs, that our data downloader, whatever you want to call it, goes through and inserts them all into the correct map objects, holding our scenes. So now that we exported that, all we do is run our game, and there we are. We've got our level, we've got our little house, we've got the animatables in the right spot. This is really cool. Oh, this is huge. Hell yeah. Okay, so next on the list, look at our spell casting is still kind of being modified by the wall collisions, which shouldn't be happening. It kind of makes sense for the leftmost wall. Let's see if it does it over here. Oh yeah, it does it for here too, because I was thinking, yeah, we got to get that back to working properly. And then, you know, in our level design, we have to make sure that we don't allow to walk into a collidable object, because look at that, it just moves us. But this is awesome. And then our map 2.2 is still this old map, so we can stop rendering that old map 2.2 and get our autumn grass there. So if we go into our map declarations, we can go into our map 2.2, where we're manually saying what it is. Really? Where are we saying it? Yeah, right here. Let's turn that off. Then we'll get our map 2 tube. Sweet. Now we got our real map 2 too. This is awesome. Yeah, I'll move that stump. And what's cool is like all we have to do that, like I did have it working where you would export map 2.1 and then you'd have to save it as a global map 2.1 and then populate our table in the map declarations 2.1. But now with this method, all we do is come in here and say, you know what, that stump shouldn't be there. The stump should actually be over here. And then we just draw it like that and we hit save. And then when we load our game again, our stump should have moved. Let's see. It didn't move. I think the save is different than the export, so we'll make sure we say a master tile test. Yeah, that was. Export as global map, we'll overwrite it. That's what we got to do. Then we just run our game, and then we have our updated stump out of the gecko's way. Sweet. Fuck yeah. We still need to add gecko to collidable map collisions, but you know, that's fairly easy. This is cool. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Sweet. Let's update our to-do list. We're gonna go to our notes. Where's our notes? Okay, spellcast entities need to ignore wall collisions. That is important. We need to get our HUD items up instead of just our Tashio title. We do ultimately need, I do want to fix that spellcast entity thing. We do want to chill pixel art stream. Make substantial new sprites for tile map, and then draw a cool couple scenes. Oh, and you know what? Once we have a couple of those scenes looking good, I want to make a channel trailer for Twitch. Because Twitch, every time I go to my homepage, they're asking me for a channel trailer, so I think that would be a great time to put together, edit a little cut of what the game is, what the project is, as a little channel trailer. So that would be really fun. I could maybe even, yeah, I mean, maybe if anyone's interested in seeing that kind of stuff, I can even edit the video and record it on stream too. That might be kind of interesting. Record channel trailer with demo levels. Cool. That's huge. Did we have a thing that said okay, we don't get to check anything off because I didn't have anything, but I'll add in a check off because that was pretty awesome. We'll say tiled map data downloader. That's huge. That's so freaking cool. Talk about bang for your buck there. Took us 4 days, but now we can just draw whatever map we want, and then boom, we're playing it. That's huge. We literally used to have to go to our map declarations, and we would come in here and we would say, this is a grass island. This is a grass island top edge. This is a dirt path. This is a brick brown. And then, you know, they're all different lengths, so it's hard to see how they connect with one another. Yeah, our new method's way better, super cool, super happy with it. Let's go check out our Git. We removed we added global map, we deleted master tile test. Let me shrink this so we can read. Let's do a git diff and just see what we changed. Got some new notes. Did we take this out? What the hell? Oh, this is just the old The old global map we're taking out. Yeah, we probably shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know if we should be committing all this. Okay. So yeah, we did our new data downloader logic, which is cool. We figured that out. We're not rendering our test maps anymore. We're calling it a global map, not a master tile test, and we took off the rendering. That's pretty awesome. So it looks like we added a global map, yeah, and we removed it. Okay, so yeah, as we draw stuff, and once it's in our Git, it won't have that, you know, it'll have the difference. It won't have that whole, you know, we scrolled through like 9,000 items. Let's add. We did add mob debug as well, which is cool. That works. Couldn't get it to work only for specific stuff, but we can get it to work generally and add those watch variables, which is very handy. So we're gonna say added mob debug, finished data downloader, map downloader. Big success. Very nice. Sweet. Hell yeah. That was awesome. Cool. Who's this? Oh, Rough Cookie. Hey, Rough Cookie, you've been here this whole time? Thanks for hanging out, man. I don't know if you're still here. But thanks for the lurk. I appreciate it. We have many people to raid. Let me see if this Duck W is... Oh, he's playing a game, not developing. We're just gonna go... We'll raid out to BO Problem. He's always up right when I'm done programming, and he's always working on some Godot programming, so we'll raid him. If you're here, just, you know, thanks for being here. And maybe tell him, you know, maybe just wish him a good night or something. He's always up late working, so I know he'll appreciate the raid. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll make some pixel art, and we'll be making a little bit bigger of a map. And then once that's done, we'll fix that magic collision with the wall, and then we'll be ready to film a channel trailer, which will be big. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.